So when Sherri first reappeared and she was taken to the hospital, the investigators took some DNA samples from the clothing that she was wearing, right? Hoping that one day maybe the results from this DNA would come back and they would be able to really tie this case together. And spoiler alert, it did. They did get the DNA hit that they wanted, just not in the way that Sherri was hoping for, I think. Now, it took years for this DNA to be tested and to get a definitive match. But the match wasn't one that anybody was expecting. See, in March of 2022, so 6 years after this abduction, the DNA came back as male, and it wasn't her husband Keith's. In fact, it was a match to Sherri's ex-boyfriend, a man named James Reyes. So when the FBI went to confront James about this and be like, hey, why is your DNA on our victim of an abduction? He pretty much folded like a lawn chair, almost like immediately. And what he told the investigators didn't really come as a surprise, but it definitely was a bombshell that nobody in the public, I think, really expected at that point. Because James told the FBI that Sherri had wanted to fake the entire thing, that she's the one who orchestrated all of it. He claimed he was just trying to help his friend out, this former flame of his, this former fling, and Sherri gave him very specific instructions, and according to him, he just played follow the leader. He claimed that Sherri was trying to get out of her marriage, which she claimed to have been miserable in for months. So the two of them would text each other on a burner phone, just kind of coming up with the perfect plan, figuring out when they're going to pull the trigger on all of this. And sure enough, Sherri did. She had no reservations. According to her, she wanted to escape her horrific marriage, which, don't worry, we're going to get into those allegations here in a bit. Now, at first, the FBI wasn't sure if James was telling the truth, because it would have been just as easy for him to say that he went along with this whole thing if in reality he's the one who orchestrated it, right? He just as easily could be like, no, it was her idea, it was her, it didn't have anything to do with me. So they needed to vet him. They needed to vet his story. And they were able to do that pretty easily, because the FBI became very quickly convinced that James was telling the truth when he told them that he knew about the brand that was on Sherri's back. Remember, this is something that they kept very close to the chest. They did not want that detail out, yet James knew about it. And just like the plan that he claimed Sherri orchestrated, he also said Sherri is the one who branded herself. He claimed that Sherri instructed him to go to a nearby craft store. I believe it was a Hobby Lobby, to be specific. And she had him buy a wood-burning kit. With that, she then had the tools to brand herself, or to have him help her, assist with the branding. So according to James, the entire thing was fake. The abduction, the being held against her will for 3 weeks, being branded by these captors, it was all Sherri's doing. Yet, of course, when Sherri was confronted with all of this information, she denied everything. She stuck with her story, saying, no, these 2 Hispanic women abducted me. She claimed that she never saw James. She never even came into contact with James. And she even doubled down that she had never come into contact with a man, period, during her abduction. No man at all, let alone her ex-boyfriend. But as all of this was happening, simultaneously, the FBI was able to confirm that the 2 of them had been talking. They had been talking for months prior to this kidnapping, all on burner phones, just planning the whole thing, just like James had said.